Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning in to our station, Galaxy Television, and essentially to the program, The Buzz, the show that brings you quite close to social media. Today is Thursday, and it's the 12th of April, 2018. I'm indeed glad to be on this table this afternoon. I'm Patience, and Alera is here as well. Hi, Alera. What are you excited about?
You know, I've been counting down to the weekend since yesterday.
You did say so. Yeah, she did say so yesterday. I don't know what she's
They're just days you just want to let down.
No, there has to be something.
There has to be something that is happening this weekend.
I agree.
Don't worry.
She has not let me into it yet. I don't know.
Don't worry. It's not about me. It's about you.
I'm as clueless as everyone else on this
Oh my
table.
God.
But don't worry, I'll get to the bottom of it.
Well, you're welcome to today's edition of The Buzz. And as usual, it's Thursdays where we get to discuss lifestyle, relationship as it breaks. I get excited also on the Thursday.
Yes, and this week has been super exciting.
Are you dancing?
For all those who like those kind of sensational stories, yes, we've got them for you this afternoon. All right, 0708-740-7508 is the number to send an SMS to. Also, you can do Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Yes, using the hashtag The Buzz on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Galaxy TV, and also on Twitter at official Galaxy TV. And for those of you that probably don't have, is it NEPA?
Don't have lights.
PXCN, yes, you don't have power. Don't worry, you can as well just get a watch by our YouTube channel, which is Galaxy TV, Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Now let's introduce our guests on the show this afternoon. All of them are they're not one-timers on the show, so they are quite conversant with how we do it here. This is Mr. Mustafa Iwenla. He is a renowned real estate expert and also a life coach, amongst many other things. Good afternoon,
Thank
Mr.
you very much, Patience.
Iwenla.
It's always fun to be here.
Yes, it's fun having you too. And of course, we have the only lady in their midst, Nkem Kali Obi. She's a journalist. Good afternoon, Nkem. I like her Igbo name, Nkem na Som. You know, she taught me that, and I never forgot it. My own, they sweets me, you know. I like the name, Nkem na Som.
Okay, that's the meaning of the name.
Yes, it just has a nice ring to it. Yes. And also, you taught me one longish Igbo name.
Oh, yeah.
I've somehow found my way around, you know, calling that name without mistake anymore. All right, that's Charles Oyenocheya. He is a child psychologist, and he's also a friend on the show. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me. And turns out my Igbo name is Nkem as well.
Oh, wow. Everybody's Nkeming on the show. All right, thank you guys for turning up. Okay, so let's go straight into our program for this afternoon. And our first story is on student-lecturer relationship. Of course, we're all familiar with the news of the OAU professor or lecturer who presently is enmeshed in some sort of sex scandal. Anyway, new facts have emerged about the lecturer, Professor Richard Akinola, who is a lecturer in the Management and Accounting Department of the Faculty of Administration at the Obafemi Awolowo University. And he's been accused of demanding 5 rounds of intimacy from a female final year student in his department before she can pass his course. For those who don't know, this same professor lecturer is also a priest in the Anglican Church, which is like double scandal, if you know what I mean by that. Now, recently, an audio recording detailing the conversation between the student and the lecturer surfaced online, and the student's name is Eniola. But ever since she broke this story, she has sort of like fizzled out because somehow she says she doesn't want to be responsible or be the reason why the lecturer would lose his job. Sadly, it already happened, if you ask me. Anyway, the school management says it has set up a committee to investigate the allegation, and they are going to make sure that all guilty parties in this particular issue will face the full arm of the law. We have the audio clip. I hope it will be clear enough for those at home to actually get the details of what they're saying. So here is excerpts from that. Let's quickly listen to that and then we'll come back.
To copy this tune for 50 naira, press 11.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Which one is yes again?
Yes,
Mr. Akindele, which one is yes again? Yesterday you said something. It was because I was close to my boyfriend. I couldn't say anything. You said that
because what?
I was close to my boyfriend yesterday. He was there, so I didn't want him to hear anything. You said you submitted it.
I don't know why you keep on asking me.
Why won't I ask now?
What's your own business about whether I submitted? I gave you an opportunity and you missed it. So
I
forget
didn't
about
miss any opportunity now, bro.
I gave it to you and you missed it.
I wanted to be sure. It's
Forget
not that I said
so
no.
I will just no. If you are not sure, then forget about it.
I have to be sure first now. And you know there are some people students
Please,
when they enter
forget
school.
about it. Please forget about it. You do it next year.
Is that how you
Me
want
that agreed to do something, I know what I meant. So if you don't trust me, then forget.
I'm not saying I don't trust you, but I need assurance now.
Continue looking for assurance. If I won't do it, why should I even give you audience in the first instance? If I'm not interested in doing it, I won't give you audience. The other person has come and I've told her straight away because there is nothing I can do to bail that person out. And our own mark is even more than your own. The person scored 39. Why your own is 33? And only 2 people failed the exam. So what else do you want me to do?
Only 2. It was 3 I saw. Now you reduced it to 2 people that
I don't know, but I'm sure. I thought it was 2, but I just know of the 2. It's only the 2 people that have come to me. You can see it anytime you come now. We are at the moment.
Okay, welcome back. Now, that's the little we can take. It's a longish audio clip. It's on the internet if you want to listen to the whole episode. The update to this story is that another lecturer who is in the same department with this professor has come out to say this is not the first time this same professor, will be involved in sexual impropriety. 3 years ago, it happened. And also, a lady who graduated from the same university 20 years ago came out to say while she was in that school, the same lecturer did ask her for sex as well. Mr. Mustafa Ewenla, let us talk about this issue. Yes.
I listened to this audio tape, I think about 4 or 5 times yesterday. Honestly, at this point, we must begin to ask ourselves a question. Where is our morals? If this is a lecturer that is supposed to be impacting knowledge in students, and is trying to take undue advantage of this student because he feels he's a lecturer.
Oh, he's also a priest.
There's no...
Not to forget that.
A lecturer and a priest.
Okay.
For me, there's no... Let me use the man's words. There's no need to be looking for assurance. This thing is real. That conversation was real. Okay. I read the response from the school's PRO saying that they need to verify if truly that voice was the voice of the lecturer. That is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Of course, this is not the first time we're going to have sex for marks standards in Nigeria.
Yes.
All of us went to schools. It happens, no doubt. Sometimes we even find these girls offering themselves to these people simply to get marks, no doubt. But for me, this particular one is very unacceptable because the man was even telling the girl, I want it 5 times. Why do you, I'm sure that man is, I don't know his age, but that man should be close to 60 or 65 from that picture I see. And these are people that are supposed to be our fathers that are, leading us right, guiding us through schools. And now we are trying to take undue advantage of poor girls who are vulnerable because they want marks. For me, I think that at this point, the schools should establish a machinery, like they said, or a committee to investigate the matter, just to be sure. Then once it's confirmed, also we can now also rule out technology these days whereby people can stay behind the phone and I can talk on the phone to you right now and my voice will sound like a woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't rule out all that, but 90% I think this is real and I think that man should be sanctioned for this.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, from that conversation, I have a feeling that that girl also could be guilty to some extent too.
She is.
She didn't have an issue with having sex with the man. She only had an issue with having sex with the man for 5 times. That was the issue there. He said, how can I sleep with you for 5 times?
5
Are you
times.
giving me an E or a B?
It was for an E.
For an
Surprisingly.
E. So
An
the
E.
girl obviously also must have been involved in such things in the past. Before. But for me, I think the school has to take this matter so seriously. Because for me, OAU is one school I respect so much. I tell you, I have about 3 of my staffs who are from OAU. But this, it dropped my respect for them because I think they need
All right, now let's start with you. And definitely because before we came on the program, you were trying to like rub minds about the fault of the lady and you were all calling out also
Names.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't calling her names to spite her, but the whole issue is it's neither here nor there. Like I said, it's a case of the pot and the kettle. You see, and at the end of the day, it's back to the global crisis in education and how Nigeria presents such a unique case. Because in my social work, I do a lot of work in the educational sector. Now, you ask yourself a question. How serious is the average Nigerian student with their studies? That's the truth. Because if a student knows there are ways to cut corners,
Of course.
okay, and it's a truckload of horrible issues.
Yes.
And things like this actually paints a picture of what our educational system
Has
is
become.
like, and that's why for people I help to recruit, you read, most graduates can't even write application letters, and you're asking yourself, this one is a graduate, but what does that tell you? Nigerian youth are no longer ready to bend their backs and study.
Burn the
Now,
midnight
for
candle.
a student, that's my point. For a student that does everything he or she should
Is expected to do, yes.
Exactly. You may not have the best grades, but you will come out with something good that will not warrant you to, how will I put it now? That will not warrant you to offer yourself in exchange for marks. Now, fine, sometimes as a student you do all you need to do, but you may fall sick. Some situation beyond your control could affect your grade. But whatever happened to taking the high road? An extra year is not the end of the world.
I had an extra year.
So many of us, that's the truth.
And
That's the truth. The regular education doesn't really say much about the human being. For me, I'm not saying the lecturer, obviously he fell for a bait, and that talks about issues of integrity and morals, like you said, on his own part. But the lady that made the offer, it also tells me something about her character. So it's just a potpourri. It's a case of the pot and the kettle.
All right, okay.
Okay.
You are dumbfounded.
It is dumbfounded.
At times, sometimes we don't blame some people for doing some things. I'm not talking about the guy. The guy is his problem. He has been doing that for a long time. But if you listen to the voice note, so you find out that maybe this girl is being pushed by her friends to do what she was doing. Be like, okay, let's just do it. Let's put it on the internet. We need to go back
set
this
him
guy.
up, right?
Let's set him up. And for her to get this guy talking, she needs to play the role. She needs to play along with him. Because she can't just be strict. I'm not saying I support bad thing or no.
Even the man told you,
we get your point.
Don't mention my name.
See, for me to get a thief, I need to act like the thief. You understand? So I think she tried playing down.
She played along,
because her friends
to get the facts on tape.
If that's the case, it's
The man was actually being
understandable.
set up. That was just
Yes,
she
it was
knew.
set up. Yeah, she knew, and her friends were around her. And they pushed her to do it.
No,
And
but
there's no way.
there's something. If you listen to the entire, that's why I like to listen to things in context. Now, from the beginning of that conversation, that tells us there has been prior
discussions.
exchange.
Yes.
So it's not an isolated
Negotiations.
issue.
No,
exactly.
they have been talking about the issue, but the girl needed to get the real
Have
fact
an
to put in
evidence,
there,
yes.
have an evidence.
Maybe she had people
Perfect.
around her.
Beautiful.
She had people around her that were like giving her.
Definitely.
No, but this is my point, and this is where now. Please don't get me wrong. I'm a feminist. I tell people I'm a male feminist. You can almost always be sure that I will take the side of the woman. Okay, but let's look at it this way. Whatever happens to you failing a cause and finding peace with that, and going on to study the next year and rewrite your exams. It's simple. What's the point running around trying to go behind the table to get things done?
Well, we all thankfully we've been through the four walls of tertiary institution, and we know how things happen there. I mean, having an extra year, from us looking in, from the outside, and now it's not such a big deal. But
It's not a big deal.
as a student, at that time, you were in it. You know what it means, the shame of having to go back home, tell your parents,
spending extra
you're
year.
paying more, all the cost and every other thing that goes with that would make a lot of students want to cut corners. Having said that, it doesn't justify whatever the
And
girl.
sorry to say this. Well, it could be. Now, it's a whole different ball game.
And yeah,
if
it
that
is.
man deliberately fails female students,
That's
that's another issue.
That's another thing.
That's another thing. So
The
it
truth of the
could
matter
be.
is, we cannot totally rule out that too.
Exactly.
There are
This is a-
lecturers who do that.
Who do that?
Yeah,
They'll
some
just
do.
it purposefully
You
just
know
for you
what?
to come and
Just
see
for you to
them.
come and see
In
them.
fact, they would even write on your paper, see me in the office.
Not for me. You know what?
Of course.
At the end
So
of
just
the day,
to- just to
now at
neutralize
the
it,
end
yeah.
of the day, you look at the parties involved. The lecturer has the higher authority. So one expects that you are the leader. You have to take the lead. At the end of the day, the buck stops at that man's table, and he takes most of the blame. Whether it's a setup from the girl or whether the lady does not want to study, wants to cut corners, it's like you are a parent. The young people are bound to make mistakes. That's why she's a youth. That's why she's a young person.
Yeah.
And this is not to totally exonerate her from any blame. But what I'm just trying to say, if someone has to be held responsible,
It's the lecturer.
it's the lecturer
Yes.
because of his
Because
position.
he should know better.
As a leader.
Yes.
He should
and as
have.
a reverend, a man of
No,
God.
let's not go there.
I have to keep
We're
saying
all
that.
human
Because
beings.
I know.
Patience.
I know. But those are people we look up to. in
No,
this
patience.
time.
It's
Yes.
actually wrong. Patience, let me tell you something.
rounds.
We are all, look, I'm Christian, you might be Muslim, whatever you are. In the eyes of God, everyone is just a
I
human
get
being.
that.
Right? Now, the reason why we have some people who become maybe pastors more spiritual than others, it's not exactly because they have a higher moral compass than you. No. It's just that some people have the call of God on their lives well, you can't totally rule out. This is
judge
human.
him.
This is human nature. I don't even want to go to the
Bible
aspect
side
of his spiritual life, because every last one of us in the world has issues that we're fighting. Okay, but like you said, the fact that you are a pastor, you stand for something.
You stand for
that
something.
should
You
make
should
you
respect
have
that.
some level
Of decency.
of
Because
not
if you know you
decency.
cannot, for me, if you know you
character.
cannot live up to what it takes to be a reverend or a priest, why accept it?
No, it's beyond that. You see, and this is why in my job as a
Yes,
psychologist, human beings are compartmentalized. So every day you face issues. It doesn't totally rule out the whole blanket of what you are. Like an isolated case does not totally define you as a human being. So that, these are, deep, professional issues that I don't want to bring out here.
I think we should say a blanket advice now to students generally in schools, particularly the females.
Even the males too.
Even the males too.
It goes both
get
ways.
harassed.
Even listen to the advice.
Yes.
But I think it's more on the females right
yes,
now,
those
because
females are more
so
receiving.
because honestly, most of us are always very particular about what grades do I leave the school with. I tell you the truth, the grades you graduate from school with does not determine your success in life.
Can get your
I have people who finish with good grades right now. They're still seeking for jobs.
2-1.
In fact, they are nowhere to be found. They are still trying to survive. And I have people who finish with poor grades and they are leading. In fact, they are industry leaders currently.
Yes.
So most times in schools we get all all emotional about if I don't make it in
Make
school,
it
I'll
to
have good
one
grades.
or make it
After
first
school,
class.
my life
It's
is
like
good.
you're a
It's lie.
failure.
So that's why people
Yeah.
will be tempted to do all these things. By,
And I think most of the
Yeah.
pressure too comes from the parents.
No, aside from that,
aside
from
the pressure on the student, I've been a
You know,
a
aside
teenager,
from
a young
that,
person too.
patience.
I know what my father and my mother did to make sure I come out, and graduate from
No,
school.
but
So,
the truth is, as a student, it's expected that you make
good grades.
It's expected. Let's not downplay the role of, education and your grades in education. But it's back to what I said. There's a crisis in Nigerian education. Now, from a young age, from I think the basic educational level, which is now the JSS 3, the school should know this one will proceed to a professional course. This one will go on to do arts.
To a
this one will
technical
go on
school.
to technical school. So it's about the crisis in education. Now, you find most people struggling with the sciences. My greatest regret in life is that I studied science. That's my greatest regret. Right up to my master's level. It's something I still regret. But I'm a great artist. I sing, I act, I dance. That's just my A-leaf. And we spoke about Jennifer, talking about her. During my cousin's wedding, I met one of her classmates back in school, and he said that's what she was actually known for.
Then.
So we have to begin to,
And then she went on and
harness.
studied law, wasted all those. Well,
No,
it's
it's
not
not
exactly
a
a
waste.
waste. It's not exactly a waste. I'm quick to correct myself.
Exactly.
It's not exactly a waste. But you could have been ahead.
Exactly.
Ahead
But
of
we
whatever.
don't have
Do you get what I
schools
mean?
in the
Yes.
country
That's why I
that
think we should also lay emphasis on our parents.
On our
too.
parents.
That's what I
The pressure
said.
sometimes too could be much from
you
you.
know what?
Some
We
parents tell
are
their
the
kids,
parents
if you
now.
fail,
The millennials.
some will tell that if you fail, don't even come
Fail,
home.
don't come back home.
A child like that will do anything to
sure by
pass.
now.
You know?
I'll be giving some people
All right,
injection on
one
their
house,
head.
one house.
I know another thing that is just so worrisome is because even the secondary school students are also going to be falling victims of this stuff that they're going to see in the university right now.
Not only
But
in
of
the
course,
university, it's
it
even
happens
happening in
right
secondary
in
schools.
Secondary schools,
It's happening
though.
everywhere.
Yes, you understand.
All right,
because the one
like
who
Charles
gets good
rightly
grades-
said, I mean, it speaks volumes of what our education sector has actually turned out to be. All right, let's see how the viewers are reacting to this topic. Liz Onoja from Ikorodu says, everyone tries to take advantage of his or her office. God help us all, which is very true. This other one says, please don't forget this lady is paying school fees and all fingers are not equal. You don't know her financial status. Having an extra year, just because she can give herself to one old man, I think that's not an excuse. But please help to beg the government to give the students a platform to voice their pains and opinions. This one says, this is from Janet. The young lady made that call with the intention. The man was the aggressor here. He had made a prior offer she had not acted upon. The statements she made and questions she asked were with the intent of catching him in the act. And she further on said there should be strong legislation guiding issues like this. This other one says, interesting topic. What of the student who wrote a particular course from year 1 to final year and she still doesn't make it? That happened when I was in school. I recall there was this particular course we had to take in 100 levels. It was is it prerequisite? There's something they call courses like that.
Yeah,
that
prerequisite
a prerequisite
course.
course.
Like you have to
You
do
have
one,
to,
you can't do
yes,
another.
you can't proceed.
Yeah.
And you see, everybody in my class carried over that. It even had nothing to do with science that
in school.
we were in microbiology. It had nothing to do with microbiology, but it was just one of those courses. Nobody could pass that course. And when we got to final year, they waived it for everybody. You know, so sometimes some lecturers can deliberately be that mean because you study and you get to the exam hall, you look like a fool. You don't know anything. You're like, what is this? You
There's
know,
just so much.
There's so much.
I think if
with
our
university education
learns to come at people from their area of strength,
exactly.
you know, just channel you. What's your
Because
area
there are
of
different
strength, and
forms
then
of
channel you in
intelligence.
that.
Exactly.
I had a
Yes.
friend. He actually studied chemistry in University of Lagos. In our second or third year, it was such a horrible situation. He had almost all his courses as carryovers, and this guy was a great musician. I had to actually sit. I remember sitting with him in the, the lobby of the science faculty. I told him, look, Collins, you're in the wrong place. Why not try and cross over to music? That's your area of strength. It doesn't matter. You can start from, go back to the first year. And, just, obviously, you don't have any business in the sciences. I told him I'm struggling as well. But unlike you, my intelligence is really high. I can read and retain and pour. And that's just what I used to do. Cram, retain, pour. So I came out with,
so at the end of the day, you weren't really learning
I can't remember anything. So I actually advised him, look, go that way. And he actually did. Today he's in the UK. And he's doing really good as a music director in one of the pictures.
Sorry, 1 minute question. I think the whole thing boils down to, you see, our